In this video, let's take a closer look at the new font tools in TPC Desktop 2026. Prior to 2026, we did have some of these font tools available, but we've consolidated them into a common dialog where we coordinate the functionality of fonts. I'm going to start by taking a look at this drawing for a survey I did, and I used this in the sneak peek video. I notice I just happen to have one text box in Times New Roman. All the rest of the drawing is in Arial, at least in Paperspace. And I probably had this in a template this way and just forgot to change it. So I could right-click this, go to Font Tools, Convert to Font, and easily then say, yeah, I've got one survey space object that is Times Roman. I want to convert that to Arial, and I'm done. But I wanted to show you kind of a little bit deeper dive of where these tools are at and how they all work. So if I right-click an object, I've got Font Tools. I can convert a font, I can delineate a font, I can select a font, and I can go to the font properties or the properties for all those objects that have that font. So let's just take a look at delineating a font. So I've selected a Times Roman object, so it brings up that font as the one I want to look at. And I can see that I'm going to check all of these. In survey objects and Paperspace objects, I don't have any. I just have this one in Paperspace. Well, let's take a look at Arial, because that's the most common one. So I can see that I've got all of these Arials that I used primarily in the Traverse drawing settings. So that's what determined the font I was going to use here. But I've also got one survey space object. So I put 8th Avenue in Arial and then accidentally put this one in Times New Roman for the purpose of this survey. And then I can say, okay, I want to look at Paperspace objects. Here's 36 of them. So this delineating fonts is just kind of a good way to see what's actually in the drawing as far as the fonts that I've used. And as I delineate those, there's a font delineation button here that tells me I'm currently delineating the Arial font in this case for Paperspace objects, and I can turn all of those on. So when I'm done taking a look at these, I can undelineate on exit, so I can turn that off, or I can leave that on and just kind of do some other things to figure out what I want to do with the fonts in this drawing. Let's go ahead and close that. All those same font tools are available here in the Drawing Data Manager. So this drawing says I'm going to represent all the data in the Drawing Data Manager, and here's a font selection. So I can see I can expand the Arial font that's used, and these are the 4 fonts that are currently used in the drawing. Some of these are predefined, so they may not be used at all. This one is used 3 times. Courier New is not used at all. Times New Roman is used 1 time. But Arial is used for 62 survey objects. And we saw that. It's used for 1 survey space object and 36 Paperspace objects. And we can do right here what we did earlier. We can right-click, go to Font Tools, and we can say Delineate Font. So Traverse BC now will delineate all that Arial font inside the drawing. I can do the same thing for Times New Roman. I can say Font Tools, delineate that font, and it'll display that font as the From font in the Delineate Objects by Font dialog, and then delineate that. I could also just change that font right here. I could say, show me all the Arial, show me all the Times New Roman, and the other one I saw was the Lucida Calligraphy. And I'm using that currently in my setbacks. So I can come in and delineate the fonts that I want. In the sneak peek, we saw how to convert fonts, and the Delineate dialog allows me to convert. And the Convert dialog that we showed in the sneak peek also delineates the fonts as I select them. So Delineate and Convert are very similar. They work kind of hand in hand. They're a separate command. Delineate is separate because we wanted to be able to delineate all these other things. So I can delineate Paperspace, survey space, any modified survey text that might be in there, or I can just cancel all the delineations if I want. So just wanted you to kind of see that Delineate and Convert are very, very similar. Now, I can also choose View, Delineate Objects, and here's Objects by Font. So this is that F button, the font button, that we saw turned on here in the toolbar when we selected that. And when I close, I can say I want to undelineate on exit. Now, besides delineating and converting, we can also select fonts. So I do that in the Edit. I can select Paperspace, Survey Space. Here's Select Objects by Font. It's a very similar dialog, and I also can convert from this dialog as well, but it doesn't delineate them. Now it selects them. So I can see that 36 Paperspace objects are selected. I can see that 62 survey objects like these line labels and lot labels are all selected. And I can see this one survey space object the 8th Avenue is also selected. Now, I can exit and those fonts remain selected. So I can now right-click one of them and execute a command on all of those fonts if I want. And I wouldn't do it for all the fonts in a drawing. I'm likely to do it with maybe all the paper space fonts or all the survey space fonts. That's the more likely workflow with this. And then, of course, like anything else, I can just undo the selected, and Traverse PC will unselect those fonts like I did earlier. So I just wanted you to see real quick that I've got font tools that allow me to convert, delineate, or select fonts. We're not going to look at this set object properties today. And those are available in their different places in the Edit menu for selecting fonts, in the View menu for delineating objects, including objects by font, and in the Tools menu where I can convert fonts. Okay, and this layout of the font tools, organization of the font tools, is new in TPC Desktop 2026.